Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Rainbow Six Siege Operator Guide. In this video, we'll be going over Aruni, the newest defender coming to Team Rainbow from the Nighthaven CTU. She's coming to us with the Surya Gate, a deadly new gadget that's not letting any of the attackers BS get by. But before we continue with the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out and I really appreciate it. Plus you'll always have some Siege content to watch. It's a win-win. Also, go ahead and join my Discord server from the description down below, and let's talk anything and all things about Siege. Now let's begin. First up, her loadout. Let's start with the primary weapons. She can use the P10 Aruni SMG, a decent SMG dealing 26 damage per shot with a fire rate of 980 rounds. It does okay damage, but puts it out really fast. The only real downside is that 19 round magazine. You're going to be spitting out bullets so fast that you're going to have to be reloading quite a bit. But other than that, it's a great gun and definitely use it if you prefer an automatic or just a close range approach. Next up, we have the Mark 14 EBR DMR. That's right, Aruni has a DMR on defense. It does 60 damage per shot, fires in semi-auto, and has a magazine capacity of 20 rounds. It's a pretty good DMR in general, but what makes it even better on Aruni is that she is a defender. This is a seriously powerful and long-range weapon for a defender to have, and you can do quite a bit of things with it. You can hit long-range spawn peaks if you're that kind of person, you can hold longer angles than your teammates, and you can be the one to counter an annoying Glass or Collie taking pot shots at your team from far away. If you like a long-range weapon, holding angles, or a weapon that packs a bit more punch, take this over the P10 Aruni. Then we have her secondary weapon, the PRB-92 handgun. It's your average handgun. Pull it out in emergencies or when your primary weapon is out of ammo. It's good and will serve you well. And as for a secondary gadget, you can either take barbed wire or a bulletproof camera. Take the barbed wire to slow down the attackers, or a bulletproof camera to let you and your teammates watch more angles and gather intel. The choice is yours. Now moving on, we have the good stuff, her special gadget. And there's quite a bit to go over. Aruni can deploy the Surya Gate. These laser grids can be placed pretty much anywhere and do a ton of different things. For starters, it can be placed on soft walls, reinforced walls, doorways, windows, and hatches. Like I said, pretty much anywhere you can think of, you can deploy this gate. But with doorways, like doorways especially, there will always be a tiny gap at the bottom, allowing drones and some really well-angled grenades to go under. Next, the Surya Gate is capable of destroying any utility projectile thrown into it. And by utility projectile, I mean pretty much anything that is thrown or shot that is not a bullet. This means it stops any grenades, Sophia's grenades, Ash's breaching rounds, Hibana's pellets, and much more. An easy way to think of it is anything that would get zapped by a Jaeger ADS gets destroyed by the Surya Gate. Now this also includes drones. If a drone jumps into the lasers, it will be destroyed. In addition to all that, it also deals 40 damage to any attacking operator that passes through it, putting them at nearly half health for just walking into these lasers. There's really only one way to counter the gate, mainly that if the gate is interacted with in any way, like say an attacker walking right through it or a grenade being destroyed by it, will cause the gate to deactivate for a short amount of time. Now, this deactivation time will be the attacker's chance to rush through the gate or use any projectiles in that area. Just be warned, when the gate is interacted with, it doesn't deactivate immediately, so after you throw that grenade to shut it off, wait half a second before rushing in, or else you'll be taking that 40 damage because you were too eager and you went too fast. One pretty big and important thing is that the Surya Gates cannot be destroyed. The generator is invulnerable. You cannot break it. If an attacker damages them, say like with an explosive, or if it's interacted with like I just mentioned, the Surya Gate will be shut down and start sparking. While the gate is sparking, it won't be on and can't be reactivated. Now once the sparking stops, the generator will flip open, but it won't turn on. For the gate to actually be turned back on, any defender must shoot the generator. This will reactivate the lasers and get it to working like normal. In addition to all that craziness, Aruni can also pick up and move the Surya Gates at any time, letting her readjust the defensive strategy on the fly and adapt to the attacker's plane of attack. So say they're getting attacked from one way that doesn't have that many gates, Aruni can just walk over, pick one up, and relocate it to adapt and overcome. Bear Grylls would definitely be proud of Aruni right now. One final thing to mention is that the gates will deactivate anytime a defender is near them. Now this lets them pass through safely, or lets, Valkyrie throw cams or anything like that without them being destroyed. So anytime a defender is near a gate, the gate will turn off. So you need to be careful though. Since the lasers shut off anytime a defender is near them, you might alert your position to any nearby attackers. Once they see those lasers switch off, they know a defender is close by that gate. So they might rush, they might throw a grenade, they might do any number of things. So just be cautious that going around the gate will turn it off, and that might alert some undesirables to your location, so you might want to be a little careful. I know Aruni is kind of complex and there's a lot to her ability. There's a lot of layers, there are a lot of things to know. So I'm going to summarize real quick, just condense everything so maybe you guys can remember it a little bit better. Aruna's surrogates can be deployed basically anywhere and act like a Jaeger ADS by destroying any utility projectiles thrown into it. In addition to that, it deals 40 damage to any attacker that passes through the lasers. If any utility projectile or attackers pass through the lasers, the gate will become deactivated and begin to spark. After the sparking is over, any defender must shoot the generator to get the laser turned back on. It won't turn back on automatically. The gates cannot be destroyed, and Aruni can pick them up and move them around whenever she wants to and whenever she feels like. Now that we know what her ability does, how can we best use it in the siege? I think you mainly want to place your surrogates in important choke points, say the main way into an objective area. This will force the attackers to delay any push and at the bare minimum waste one of their gadgets just to shut down your gates. In the best case scenario, the gate's placement causes the attackers to rush through and take all that damage. Basically, use the surrogates to cut off the attackers and their way into the objective. Let's say you do that, but the attackers are coming from a direction you didn't expect, that you didn't anticipate. Well, you can always adjust your placement. One of the more important things to note is that you can move your surrogates at any time. So, if your prediction was wrong, just move them over while being careful about other attackers. You don't want to get shot while you're moving your gates, so be careful and keep an eye out. But just be sure to readjust your positioning of your gates if they're coming from a different way, because you don't want them sitting on the other side of the map where they're not coming from and doing nothing. You want to make sure your gates are moved and are doing something to help your team out. After you get your gates placed down and you're feeling a little comfortable, what do? Well, you should be near your gates. I'm not saying you have to anchor or anything like that, just be close enough to them where you can reactivate your gates when they go down. You could of course rely on your teammates to do this while you roam, but let's be honest, we all know how good our teammates can be sometimes. So I suggest staying near them and making sure you can reactivate them safely whenever they go down. Now this changes of course if you're playing with a 4-man, if you got a full team, then you can kind of rely on your teammates to do it, but if you're just playing in public matches, make sure you're near your gates. Just so you can take care of it. Other than that, it's just going to take a lot of time and practice. While you're playing, pay attention to what gates actually cause problems for the attackers and which ones don't. The next round, move the gates that didn't do much, and hopefully this will increase your impact on the round. Like I said, a lot of it just boils down to map knowledge and what kind of tactics the attacking team is using. But as long as you keep your gates near the objective, you should be good to go. Moving on, we have the combos and counters. Let's start off with the combos. Jaeger and Wamai combo pretty well with Aruni. Having at least 2 of these operators will shut down the attacker's projectiles quite a bit. Jaeger or Wamai can catch them in the air, and Aruni's gates will make sure nothing gets past the doorway. Having more just makes each one better. In addition to that, Capcom works pretty well too. If an attacker runs through a doorway with a Capcom trap and a surrogate, they're gonna either die or be extremely near death. They're taking all the damage from both gadgets, and it's a deadly combination. Now those are the ones that I can see, but there are a lot of operators in this game, so if there's a combo that you and your team found that works really well, please let me know down in the comments below, and we can all see it and get better from it. Finally, we have the counters. Who shuts down Aruni? Well, quite a few, but only some in the traditional way. For starters, Finka's Nano Boost gives you extra temporary health. You can actually sacrifice that health to rush through a gate. All the damage from the gate will go to the temporary health while you still remain at your normal HP. Next, Ayana can actually counter Aruni. She can use her Gemini Replicator to take the heat. Just rush in with her hologram and it will shut down the gate and allow you and your teammates to safely pass unharmed. Next, any operator that has multiple projectiles. For example, Hibana can use 1 pellet to shut down the gate, then use the rest to do her thing. Yeah, it kinda sucks you have to waste 1, but she has enough left over to still get her job done. This also goes for operators like Fuse, Ying, and Gridlock. The same kind of theory applies. Finally, we have Thatcher. his EMP grenades will disable the gates, but the gate will come back automatically with no need to manually turn it on. So yeah, it sucks that it's only disabled for I think 15 seconds, but Thatcher's EMP still works. That's actually going to be it for this video. I want to hear from you all. Did you find this guide helpful? Is Aruni your new main? And what do you want me to cover next? I don't know, so let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for even more amazing Rainbow Six Siege content. And don't forget to join our Discord server in the description below. I'm the Battle Moon, and I will see you in the next siege.